Hi, welcome back to Mediocre Arts and Crafts. Today I'm going to take you through how I created this cardstock mini album that features the Summer Market collection from Carta. Let me take you through it. Okay, to get started on this project, we are going to break out our Carta Summer Market paper pad. I used some of this on a previous mini album, which I'll link below. This one is much more simple, and I will list the dimensions of the paper and where I score in the description box below. Additionally, we're going to need some art glitter glue, a Teflon bone folder, maybe the cutter bee scissors. My scoreboard is always at the ready, and then I also used, of course, my paper trimmer, which is in the other room. So the idea for this book came to me the other day when I was scoring card bases in the living room. So I don't know how many other people do this, but I take my cardstock and kind of in assembly line fashion, I will chop up a bunch of it. And then later I will take out my scoreboard and just score a bunch of card bases, you know, while I'm watching TV or talking to my husband or whatever. And for those of you who don't know, which you probably don't, because why would you? This orientation, this is my favorite kind of card base, the one where it is scored on the short side. And I love it when the orientation is this way. It's just a preference. I don't know why. Maybe it's just kind of a little different than the cards that I made for, you know, a dozen years prior to discovering that I really liked it this way. So, I was sitting with my stack of 1,000 pieces of paper that are 11 by 4 1/4. So it's an 8.5 by 11 sliced down the middle. And as I was looking at it, I realized that, you know, I was poised to create some sort of mini album with this. And then as I was kind of scoring away randomly on the sheets to see what I liked, I realized that if you have a mini album that needs a 4 by 4 square of paper, then you can get 12 pages out of one 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. So that's what I kind of was going for after I started figuring out how I was going to put this together. So for this project, and I'll put this itemized below, but we'll need 6 pieces of paper that are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So that's this size. And then we are going to need one additional paper that is 4 1/4 by 10 1/2, and that will become the outside. So the front cover, back cover, or spine, and then back cover. And then we are going to need to fill our album 28 4 by 4 squares of cardstock. And so this is where that Summer Market cardstock collection comes in. Okay, let's start by scoring the spine. Now this spine is the 4 1/4 by 10 1/2 piece of cardstock. And so for this one, we are going to score at 4 1/4, 5, 5 1/2, and 6 1/4. Again, that is 4 1/4, 5, 5 1/2, and 6 1/4. So that makes the outside cover and the spine. And you can kind of fold these over, and at that 1/2 inch score, and then the rest will kind of come into play when we glue our pages together and inside. Might be a good idea to put this one aside somewhere where you don't confuse it for a regular page. And for our 6 pages, or 6 pieces of cardstock that make up our pages, we are going to score at 4 1/4, 5, 5 1/2, 6, and 6 3/4. Again, 4 1/4, 5, 5 1/2, 6, and 6 3/4. So now that we have our 6 pieces of cardstock that make up our pages, we're going to go ahead and fold at these score marks. The first thing we're going to do is we're just going to score it in half at that middle mark. So that's the 5 1/2 inch score. And if you take your paper and open it up a little bit, you'll see that from this middle score line, you have some score lines that are on both this front half and back half that are about 1/2 inch away from this middle, and then about 1 1/4 inch away from this middle piece. So the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to fold at this score that is 1/2 inch away from this end. So I'm just going to kind of work that. So I'm folding them both at the same time. So take a second to work it. And then what you have is your piece of paper that has a little tab on it that is 1/2 inch. And now you additionally have these that are 3/4 inch, these 2 score lines that match up right about here on the front and the back. And we're going to bend in one direction for both of those. So bend those in and kind of work those a little bit too, because you are bending 2 pieces of cardstock at the same time. So now we have something that looks like this. And we are going to first glue this little tab down. And then as soon as that starts sticking, open it up, and you're going to glue these 3/4 inch folds together. So try to keep the glue inside the score lines and just adhere those down. So let's do that again. First, we are going to score in the middle, or fold in the middle, which is that 5 1/2 inch score. Here you have a tab that is about 1/2 inch. So you're gonna fold that down. And then you have another set of score lines that are 3/4 inches away. So we're gonna fold those as well. And you can do one piece at a time if you want. We are just trying to here make a line of where our glue ends, and then also help it along for when we are folding our pages later. So now that those are folded, the 1/2 inch folded forward and that 3/4 inch as well, I'm going to glue down this 1/4 inch, or sorry, glue down the 1/2 inch piece. And as soon as that starts sticking, I'm just going to open it up and put glue on this 3/4 of an inch inside the score lines and glue that down. And so you can see now that we're starting to make the pages of our book, and what we're going to do is we are going to glue the pages together and they will open like this. So what that does is that gives us this extra bulk of cardstock that will allow us to add some of our patterned cardstock in without it bulging the outside of the book. Sometimes when you have a smaller, or any kind of book really, where you are putting a lot of items into it after it is done, if there's not a gusset or some allowance for papers to be put in, then you have a book and then it just kind of bulges out like this at the open end. And so that's what we're trying to do, is mitigate some of that with this extra bulk here, or this extra thickness here. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of those, and then we'll glue them together. Okay, so now we have all of our pages, and I am simply going to glue this piece that is a 1/2 inch wide that's folded over, so that extra room, and I am going to put some glue on it and glue the next page on top of it. I'm just going to try to line them up as best as I can, kind of get them to lean against the table at the same time as I glue them down, and I'm just going to do the rest that way. Okay. We have our pages, and here is the spine that we scored earlier. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to score out the furthest scores. So there is one spine area here, and then the front and back of the spine, and then these go out kind of like covers. So you can see that the width of our pages is not the width of that 1/2 inch that I cut for the spine. But what we're going to do is we are going to glue this area and glue this area and glue this area and smash it all together. And so basically what we are going to get is a book where the pages themselves allow for extra bulk, because they are the ones that have this little extra folded over piece of real estate in between each page. So that was a long way to go to say put some glue and smash it down. If you want extra glue on the spine part, do that. But basically we are gluing, we just want to make sure that the top and bottom line up in between those score lines, and the rest should work itself out as we go. So there we have that. Just gonna grab those like that. And hold it in. You can definitely see that my pages aren't super duper even, and I'm not even worried about it. If it's not straight, don't tell me. Oh no, if it's crooked, don't tell me. So there you have it. This is the book part all done. Just going to kind of straighten up these little parts here, make it flattish. And so now with whatever is left from the Summer Market paper pack, I'm going to figure out what I want for the front cover, the back cover, and the spine piece. And then if I want some ribbon for a closure or something like that, I'll figure that out now. The other thing that I want to do is count how many pages we have so I can figure out how many of these 4x4 little squares I really need. So 2, 4, I'm sure somebody has it already, 6. It's still drying. 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28. So I need 28 of these and a spine piece. So let me figure out what I'm going to do for the spine. Okay, so I decided that for the front and back cover, including the spine, I am going to sacrifice part of this lemonade paper from the Summer Market collection. It does have cut-aparts in the back, so I was kind of holding it aside, hoping that I wouldn't need to use it, but I think that it's definitely going to be super cute if I just go ahead and use it for the cover. So I'm going to decide which area I'm going to cut because I need a piece that is 10.5 by 4.25. So, just want to make sure I have the orientation correct, even though the score marks are going to be the same either way. So, this is one where I scored it at 4.25, 5, 5.5, and 6.25. Of course, I could have done this using this instead of making a separate cardstock spine piece, but this is double-sided anyway, so it's just going to work out. I'm going to go ahead and score it and just glue it on top. Actually, now is a good time where if you want twine or some ribbon or some sort of closure that runs underneath the cover, this is the time that you want to pick that out and glue that down before you put this cover sheet on. So it would be really cute if I had some yellow ribbon that was maybe an 1/8 of an inch or so. I'm going to go take a look and see what I've got. Okay, so I found this sheer ribbon in my stash, and it was actually in my giveaway pile, but I'm going to use it for this. So I think I'm going to use a combination of some of the white and some of the yellow. Just trying to see the color here. It looks like it has some adhesive that discolored some of it. So I'm going to do that, but because I'm going to be gluing in, you know, like 30 pages, I am going to wait until I glue in all of my pages before I add the ribbon under and then the cover over it. So I'm going to set this aside with my cover and start gluing in the pages. Now's a good time to take a look at the paper that you have and see if it's going to bother you if some of the same pages go next to each other. First, I'm going to go ahead and put the side that I want facing out at me. For example, I have this, which I definitely could use, but I definitely love this part as well. So I'm just going to kind of lay them out. So I went to shut off the video and realized that my phone had lost power. So the only thing I didn't show was actually taking my ribbon and putting it around the book. You see it goes from the front cover to the back cover underneath the that cover sheet of cardstock. To keep it straight, I ended up putting some washi tape on it. So I put washi tape like here and here and here. And then I just glue this piece of cardstock right on top of it so the washi tape is still underneath there, but the cardstock is so thick that you can't tell. And I did decide to use a piece of pink ribbon and yellow ribbon. And then I just embellished it with these stickers from the sticker sheet and went with the lemonade theme. And I happen to be addicted to those lemonade packets, and I think my husband thinks that I'm deficient in vitamin C, and that's why I crave it. But that has nothing to do with this video. So really, if you want to do a quick flip through here, I didn't embellish it other than putting those pages in, the 4x4s, and I think that it'll be really easy for someone, even someone who's not super crafty, to print or get printed photos at 3x3 or 3.5 by 3.5 and just paste them in here. And additionally, you know, there's room for other things. There's room for ephemera, ticket stubs, receipts if you're on, you know, a little trip or something like that. And then I didn't vary the pages that much. I mean, they were different, but I ended up using like the same side of a lot of the pages. Like for this particular one, I used the bicycles instead of also using whatever was on the other side of it. And these guys I love. So that's that. Now all we have to do is take our ribbon and tie it. I don't know why this seems so awkward right now, but tie it in a little bow and it's ready to go. My bow skills aren't great, apparently. There we go. Okay. These tails are really long, so you could pull that out a little further if you wanted to. But that's it. Thanks for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.